Hello, everyone. This is Dan Gramza, and welcome to dangramza.com Market Studies for Thursday, April 30th. And what we had is we had some of the big tech stocks reporting after the close. Now, you and I usually start with here at the Russell, and we'll do that tonight. You know, the Russell doesn't have a lot of big tech stocks. Asia opened up a little bit lower, and it tried to rally here in that market. It's firming up a little bit. But here in the Dow, you don't see much movement. These are the things we went through in the advanced video, but you don't see a lot of movement here to the upside because it doesn't have that tech stock exposure like you do in the NASDAQ market. That's technically now a new high. And what did we have that reported? Well, we had Alphabet up 7%, Amazon up 3%. We had Microsoft that also increased. It had 40% increase in revenue. And we'll see this also in the S&P. Let me show you a little better. But these movements happened because of that exposure. You know, we're looking at a 30-some% of the capital in the S&P are from these tech stocks. So we are seeing that movement. You know, the next 2 days, so important in that market. Well, what about the dollar? Here's the British pound's weaker, but we got into levels we found buyers before. Be careful if you're on the short side. And when we look at gold, gold is down. It's slowing down a bit in Asia, but this is a market that tells us that the yields in the 10-year note is also down. I mean, the price is down. So here's the 10-year note. This is price. Price is down here, and we're also seeing it reflected in the gold market and the silver market as well. Now, let's take a look at what's going on in nat gas. Not much. It's cooling off a bit. You know, people were looking for a huge rally. As I talked about in the advanced video, stronger opening is not necessarily a stronger market. It's a market moving away from value. And it oftentimes has a tendency to come back. Now, wheat should be trading down here if sellers are here. So this really implies Asia just opened up. That's not showing us much. But this overall structure implies a sideways move in that market. Now, be careful here because longer term, we could have a very strong trend in the wheat market depending on what happens in these weather conditions that this market is facing. So we have some drought and smaller yields that could really accelerate this into a strong trend. So just be aware of that. Those are my thoughts for today. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to being with you again tomorrow. In the meantime, take care.